All right, hello again. This is Ben Hitchcock Cross talking to you without the cans, but here we go. 1 2 1 2. All right, and we're gonna keep it rolling here. Bam. Hey, that looks so good. I'm gonna adjust it. All right. Remember, we're here in Edwards. I don't have no idea. We're wrapping it up. The big question, what part it is? The big question is, can your supervisor discipline you if you're a judge? You know how? And then No, I guess let's be clear. If you're, because you would never happen if you were a judge. If you were a judicial, this is a commissioner. If you're a judicial commissioner, can you be disciplined for the kind of rulings you make? Question. Number two, or the frequency of your rulings. There may be something else. I don't know. Number two, can you be told not to make race-based complaints, not to continue to make race-based complaints? That answer, I think, is unequivocally no by yours truly.
He was essentially requesting that there be specifics as to the name rather than initials of a child, and that there be some more specific dates involved on the warrant that he was asked to sign.
Oh,
But again, what was your understanding of the warrant per day? He engaged in this process of communication with her. But this is the only part of the issue because it wasn't just the fact that he that made this process much more difficult and slower by making what were communication and she reports.
so again, this is an adverse party. This is the county asking for a warrant, and they need to get it past a judge. That's basically what's happening. And the judge asked them to have specific information on the form there. In his email says, when we don't take the time to address what has actually been done in each case, we are substituting actual engagement with each case's facts with assumptions about what facts occurred. Right. Let's be clear. And it had this person read her Eumenides by Aristophanes. She may be up on this concept, but possibly not. Let's remember that justice must be seen to be done, not just be done. Okay, what does that mean? That's why it's important that our court system be open to the public. Fact. Okay, justice must be seen to be done, not just be done. What does that mean again? That means it's important for the public. Remember, when we put people in jail for violating the criminal code, we have to do that for a reason, right? And one of those reasons, can be punishment to that person. But another reason is a preventive effect. Do you hear what I'm saying? And the only way, for example, we can prevent other people from committing frauds or who knows what is for them to see what the consequences are. Justice must be seen to be done. Okay. Another thing is we need to know that the decision is fair. And so the public needs to be able, any person needs to be able to walk off the street and walk into a courtroom and to see and understand that it's fair. That's what justice must be seen to be done, not just be done means. And all of those concepts are embedded in what we call due process.
Case being. I'm sorry, can you in the reporting Katie Murphy, the legal director of services. So this was her she felt offended by Commissioner Edwards' communication? Yes. Okay. So the final warning that you had just given Commissioner Edwards on that part, correct? Yes.
I guess there's two questions being asked here because ultimately we need to understand, does this proves person have the right to be doing this? That's the biggest question. And is it ever appropriate to tell a judicial officer how they're supposed to talk to another litigant? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. And that, I think, is what the big question is here. And he's saying we gave you a last chance agreement, a final warning that you're to talk to everybody courteously. It's also, I think, to me, anyways, the offensive comment says when we, and this person took it to mean her, when it could equally have meant us, as in the judicial officer and the court child's services, everybody.
A little bit of a technical. That wasn't the only one he denied. He denied that one because he said he needed the name of the child and the date of the arrival of the mother. A couple days later, he did the same thing. He objected again to a warrant that it was for relatively insignificant reasons. He said, but he wanted more. He said, not only the name, the date, the name of the child, the date the mother brought in the child, but I also want to know what was used for the child. There are pictures taken of every child that comes before us. There's no process that makes it define a child other than taking a picture and putting it on the genetic testing results. But the point was that he added another hurdle to the process within another couple of days. So,
Well, okay, hold on there. Let's just make an analogy here, so I think we're clear. And maybe I'm full of beans, but I doubt it. Let's say a judge is asking a police officer to did they actually, check to see if their speedometer was working, calibrated accurately. And that person's boss calls the chief judge and says, I find that offensive. And that judge is supposed to get a final warning on how he's supposed to talk to the public. Because the issue here is that he's using his judicial discretion and not revoking a warrant for whatever reason. Wow. I'm just going to say this here out loud. I'm feeling that race is having a strong item here. Just saying that. I'm just saying that. It's not just that he's pushing back, it's that a black man is pushing back. That's what I'm feeling here. Could be wrong.
recalcitrance of his conduct in No, no. Did he take any ownership or understand that he had offended Attorney Murphy in this process?
Who gives a dang?
Not to me. No. Commissioner Bruce, do you think that there's any additional training or professional coaching that would allow Commissioner Edwards to succeed as the Deputy Court Commissioner? I don't believe that training is an issue. It's not. When you look at the he was assigned,
I want him out.
The calendar events, he filed stipulations, and ultimately all of the calendar events required significant training done all the other ones, and those were fairly simple tasks for a judicial officer who had been working for 5 years in the job. And it's clearly the insistence that there was a training binder that was available and hidden is misleading because he was not doing the things he was asked to do. You don't need training to sign stipulations on a timely basis so that people have some certainty in their lives. You don't need training to sign warrants on a timely basis so that people don't spend time in jail. These are not criminals. These are relatively irresponsible people who have not been genetically tested when they were ordered to do so, but they're not criminals. When you're responsible for updates in the calendar to arrange your employees' time off,
doesn't matter if they're criminals or not criminals. It matters what the law is.
Commissioners have some certainty in their lives quickly, and that the head of the union doesn't come to complain about the timeliness. You don't need training. You don't need training when you're the deputy family court commissioner in a community of people to work and communicate respectfully and courteously and kindly. You don't need training to do those things. So training is not a specific issue.
So he's being removed for not being kind. Got
flex
it.
tasks that he was
Got
never
it.
assigned.
Got it.
It was offered on a number of occasions. I asked him if he would choose something from the list that he thought we could move forward on. He declined to do that. Those would have been subject to training. I would have provided him with my knowledge. I would have moved forward in the way that he thought maybe we should move forward by writing some of the processes down. But those never really became so. Um, so no, further training, no, no, not, not a resolution.
Commissioner Bruce, is there anything short of termination that you think might resolve the issues with Commissioner Edwards' performance and conduct?
Look at these guys' faces.
I
Come on.
don't believe that demotion and termination would be appropriate for a number of reasons. He has demeanor issues.
He's got to.
And that termination would be
Both the issue.
I can't believe he said that, but he said that. I was gonna say uppity. I was thinking uppity. He's too uppity. He's too uppity. But he said he's got demeanor issues, right? We don't want him around because he keeps making race-based complaints. Demeanor issues. He should smile and say, yes, sir.
Issues with Commissioner Edwards' performance and conduct?
I don't believe that demotion and termination would be appropriate for a number of reasons. He has demeanor issues. If you in annual evaluation, two separate demeanor issues were brought up, and this despite he was only covering partial calendars on occasion throughout the year. Jeff Martin's
Hold on.
Demotion and termination would be appropriate for a number of reasons. He has demeanor issues. If you
I saw a twitch on Williams.
Annual evaluation.
Yeah, Sultan
Two
saw that.
separate demeanor issues were brought up, and this despite he was only covering partial calendars on occasion throughout the year. Jeff Martin's reported receiving negative feedback on different demeanor issues were brought up, and this.
All right, this time I want you to read Melinda Lawrence.
And then two separate demeanor issues were brought up, and this despite he was only covering partial calendars on occasion throughout the year. Jeff Martin's reported receiving negative feedback on two occasions during the annual review, one of which was particularly credible because it was reported by both litigants in a de novo review before Judge Martin, including the litigant for whom Judge also reported receiving several reports of inappropriate demeanor on the part of Commissioner Edwards, including an incident in which he said, "Do you know how busy I am?" So demeanor is an issue. His responsibility was that he needed more information regarding those issues in order to address that. He's the private bar. The former chief of the family division, Mike Dwyer, contacted me at one point to reference his employment in his hearings. And I've communicated similar sentiments to me.
Well, put that in the work rule violation, buddy. Allegations. They didn't do that, did they?
To take very extensive notes on his cases, which is excellent. It provides him a lot of information when he comes to the decision part. He's got good findings, but that's not the style of his colleagues, and he's regularly been derisive towards styles that are less verbose. To the point of disrespect. He's stated on many occasions that he cannot do the job of the assistant family court commissioner in 40 hours. That when he was doing the family court commissioner job, he was working more than 40 hours. And finally, most significantly,
court clerks listening in.
Hasn't demonstrated any insight into how his own behavior might contribute to these negative situations. He invariably looks to others. This was a problem as an AFCC, and now it's been repeated again and again, in which at this time is for many of the negatives.
That
And that
sounds
has been looked at,
stressful.
but
Can you tell us a little bit about how that stresses you out to your supervisor?
responded.
Shucks, man. Dang.
I'm
You
going to share
believe
my
the poor
screen and show you
supervisor.
I submitted the charges that were filed in this case
Dang.
against Commissioner Edwards.
Yes,
Okay.
Why? How'd you
Did you
get that from a
participate in drafting those charges?
I know.
Turning your attention to the final page, where it says
phone?
County Code, the rules that he has violated here. I want to ask you, walking through them, subsection K, refusing or failing to obey orders of the supervisor, whether written or oral. Can you tell us, as briefly as possible, can you summarize for us why Commissioner Edwards has violated subsection K?
Yes, I have asked him to do things like the calendar events, and he refused. I asked him on a prior occasion to recent occasion in 2025 to assist me in arranging coverage for staff at the front when we were going to be shorthanded. He put up roadblocks and essentially refused to do that. And um, this was a common occurrence throughout the time that he was employed.
Can you briefly summarize for the board how Commissioner Edwards violated subsection L, refusing or failing to comply with departmental work rules, policies, or procedures policies?
Yes, our departmental work rules require communication with all parties, and that has not been his problem for the reasons I cited through the and recently.
Can you tell us briefly, summarizing how Commissioner Edwards has violated subsection T, failure or inability to perform the duties of the assigned position?
Yes, the duties of the assigned position in per the GQ are to assist the FCC. I started that process by assigning him tasks when we first started the process of becoming a team. But ultimately, he failed to do even the things that I assigned to him.
And finally, can you briefly summarize for us how Commissioner Edwards failed or violated subsection U, substandard or careless job performance?
Yes, once again, the process of time was substandard, and as was the communication which he engaged.
Thank you.
Sorry, again, we're just talking about two things here. That it's they do this one every time. They, the county, when they're filing these allegations against people, they always throw the kitchen sink at them. I'm used to N, but K is always there, from what I've seen, and sometimes L. So what are we talking about here? He's failed to comply with the work rule because he's performed substandard care or refused to fail or obey orders because he's refused to comply with the department work rule because he's right. I mean, there's a circular logic there. So I get that, but all staff members shall conduct towards coworkers and employees respect, courtesy, and professionalism with their dealings with one another. I don't. I just. I. Okay. I can be more coherent than that. What I can say is simply this: I don't even understand how the comment, which is like uh to Miss Kennedy, is terminable. I just don't get it. I don't get even what the problem with it is. And I understand that they've made innuendo that other people have said that he's condescending and rude, but bring him and show him, right? Because I have no idea what he's talking about. But other than that, we've just got missed this once her saying that she didn't like what he said. But it's completely true. If you don't have the details, then got it. Sorry. Then you don't have a sufficient due process basis to have evidence of the decision. I mean, it works. Due process is for everybody, right? I mean, it's for everybody. So that's in the same due process works in the doing of warrants in the same ways as it works for the undoing of warrants. And what did Pruz just say was that a week later he put another roadblock in the way. Okay. Now maybe um Edwards is obstructing Pruz because he personally doesn't like him. But there's no evidence of that so far. So far, the only thing is he said you don't have enough information here. Basically, there's a warrant for this guy's arrest. I don't know where it came from. It just is. Okay. What you're asking me to do is to quash that. So in order to do that, to get to that point where I don't really have that much authority because I'm just a judicial officer. I'm a court commissioner. You got to be. I want some clarity here in terms of what you got. The other one is that his decisions are so good that he tries to get other people to do them like his, and that people don't like that. That he's got a good evidentiary record of his decisions, in other words, due process, and that other people don't like that. I do not understand. No, I understand it. I'm saying isn't that clear to everybody that what they're saying is you need to stop using what you think is what discretion that you think you have. You need to stop reading the law and you need to start doing what we told you. Comma black man. Anybody else getting that sense? Now, again, this is so problematic because look, let's say what they're trying to do, it sounds like what they're trying to do is to get people who are we're putting people who are not getting genetic tested or something else on warrants on them. So we're using this power and basically we've been told to back off and to get that processed as quickly as possible because what's happening? People are getting warrants, then they're getting stopped, then they're getting arrested and put in jail. And the chief judge doesn't like that. And neither does the county commissioner. Okay. But neither of those opinions, again, have the ability to alter. Because I'm going to put it like this. In the UK, some years back, there were a bunch of riots. And in the House of Commons, they basically said, we want judges who are going to put people in jail and are going to remove people who didn't. And then they had a bunch of convictions. And that's just what you don't want. You want independent judges. And this is the county executive is, in other words, the president of the county. And for the president to go tell judges how they should be making decisions or even judicial officers how fast they should be withdrawing these things, because he could do it the other way around. That's what the problem is. Angels or demons, due process is for everybody. Right? I mean, am I missing something?
I have no further questions of Commissioner Bruce. All right. Travis,
Can I interject? Would this be a good time to take a lunch break for the people?
probably would be.
Probably would be. All right. So we'll get into part 3 in just a bit here. That's you've got my themes here. You've got my 2 issues. I just finally want to say, coming back again to Mr. Pruse, explaining to himself, feeling and projecting himself as the great victim in all this, and quite explicitly as the great victim of a black man making complaints of race discrimination. Um, in a county that touts itself as being super county government that touts itself as being super progressive and etc. um it's yeah, both things simultaneously, right? Cover for the secret intentions here. But yeah, I'm not impressed, frankly. I'm not impressed. We can do better. County of Milwaukee. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll keep you informed.